Hi everyone, I'm Lucy from Lucy B, and today I'm joined by Dr. Sabrina, and we're going to talk all things skin. I'm really excited for this live and chat because we get lots of questions from our customers daily on the skin, and I feel like Dr. Sabrina is the perfect person to delve deeper with on all your concerns. If you'd like to say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Dr. Sabrina. I am a GP by training, a mum of two, and I also own a medical aesthetics and skin wellness clinic in Hartford. My clinic's called Pele Aesthetics, and Pele means skin in Italian, which is my background. So really my emphasis is all about improving people's skin so that they feel the best version of themselves and really, really confident. So skin for me is a huge passion.
Amazing. That's what we want to hear. If you've got any questions throughout the live, please do let us know. We've got your questions that you sent in. Thank you. And please do let us know. Rianne is here, so she'll be able to just shout them out to us as we go. I feel like a topic that would be great to start on is SPF. We hear about it all the time, but I feel like more so in recent times, it's been promoted how important it is to wear daily. Growing up, and especially in my early 20s, I never was aware of the importance of it. And I feel like now it is something that, you do hear of and you would incorporate in. Is it as important as we're hearing? What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I can't tell you enough how happy I am that it is something that the message is getting across. In the kind of scientific realm, we've known about SPF, the benefits it adds for so many decades. It's not new, it's not a fad, basically. But that message is getting through, and I can't be happier about that. So we know for many years there's a really strong clinical body of evidence that says, sun exposure, UV exposure, is one of the most dangerous insults to your skin. There's other things like pollution and smoking and things, but sun is the most damaging thing to your skin.
Yeah.
So it's not new, and that's where SPF comes in, really.
Yeah.
From a medical perspective, in my GP background, my GP hat on, it's so important. SPF, sun exposure is responsible for more than 90% of skin cancers worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay. From a more anti-aging beauty perspective, we know that sun exposure is, I think it's responsible for between 80 and 90% of skin aging on your skin.
Yeah.
So yes, we've got the importance from a more superficial level in terms of the aging of our skin, but also really importantly from a medical perspective of the importance of using SPF every day.
And that is so important to say, because actually with skin cancers, it is, with being able to protect your skin with SPF, just that is so important to do. And actually, like the rise in skin cancer, I mean, in my family, we've been affected by it quite a lot in different ways, and it's scary how much more you hear about it. So actually being able to do something daily just to protect your skin, and it's all year round as well, isn't it? Could you say a little bit more, like what are UVA and UVB rays? What are the difference in them?
So UV radiation in general is energy that is emitted naturally by the sun, artificially by things like sunbeds, etc. And in the UK and generally worldwide, we are exposed to UVA and UVB. So UVA rays, they work deep in the dermis of your skin, so the deeper layers of your skin. They cause the aging, the signs of aging that we see. So pigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles, dryness, etc. And they cause DNA damage in the dermis of the skin, causing aging. The UVB rays, I think of UVA aging, UVB burning. So UVB causes burning. That's on the epidermis, so the outer layer of our skin, and it's causing DNA damage there, which leads to burning and further on to skin cancers. Now, what you were saying about, how amazing is it that we have the information that we can prevent skin cancer by just putting a cream on every day? The way I think of it is, if we said to people, here's a pill, everyone wants a pill to fix every problem, right? Here's a pill, it's going to reduce your risk of cancer by 90%. Everyone would want it. And we basically have that in SPF, but we just need to get that message across.
Definitely. That's really useful, thank you. And with SPF 30 and 50, obviously a lot of people feel I have to have SPF 50. Is there a difference in them? And can you just sort of share a bit more on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was quite surprised to learn, like when I was first learning about this, I expected there to be a vast difference between SPF 30 and 50. So we know that when applied effectively, so what that means is you're using enough SPF and you're topping it up frequently, SPF 30 will give you 96% protection from UV. And SPF 50 will give you more than 98%. So actually, there is a difference, but it's quite negligible. So what I say to my patients, and I will often say, you know, if someone comes in, they don't use SPF, they maybe use sunbeds, which for me is like worst thing ever. I don't treat them. So they might want to come in and have all sorts of anti-aging skin treatments. And I basically say blanket no, unless you're using, you know, you're doing an evidence-based thing. It's very easy to incorporate every day. Unless you're using an SPF 30 every day, broad spectrum, meaning you're protecting from those UVA and UVB rays, then I'm not going to treat you. But it is a very simple thing we can do. And SPF 30, you know, in the UK, we're only exposed to low to moderate levels of UV. So I think on a normal day, SPF 30 is absolutely perfectly sufficient. It's when you are maybe a horse rider or a builder, you know, you're outside all day long, or you're on it's a particularly hot day, or you're on holiday, then really stepping up to an SPF is important. But I think we need to change that attitude of, oh yeah, of course I use SPF when it's hot or when it's sunny. We should be using an SPF 30 around the year, and then on the more high exposed days we'll step up to a 50.
And I think really two good points is making sure you use the right amount, because just a little dollop, like, you know, some foundations and creams have them in, but are you using enough, and is there enough? The factor might be there, but it's 2 fingers worth, full coverage, face, ears, neck, and then every 2 hours, if you're outside in the sun, every 2 hours retopping up and making sure you are protecting your skin. It's not just a little bit to protect, like that won't give you the right protection for UV. And I think that's something, again, it's you want to make sure you're actually using the right amount to protect your skin to actually get the benefits from it. And then that will then definitely help with, you know, preventing aging, and also hopefully preventing cancer, skin cancers.
I mean, I think it's what you've said is right. You have to, like, lots of people will come into me and think that they are using SPF correctly because it's in their makeup or it's in their moisturizer. But I say to people, for you to be getting, you know, on your foundation, for example, if it says SPF 30, for you to be getting that level of protection, you need to be wearing kind of stage makeup, and not many people are doing that day to day. But that, you know, their intention is there and they think they're getting the right thing. Whereas when you separate that step and you use your SPF 30 specifically before your makeup, you're really protecting yourself. And that 2 finger breadths is really important. And I even overlooked that a lot of the time when I first started using SPF. It's quite a lot. But if you find the right SPF for you, it should be fine.
And that's the great thing now. You know, we've created a SPF that is, we want you to wear all year round. It's lightweight, it has hyaluronic acid as well, so it's really hydrating. But there are really great SPFs on the market, so it's finding one that you want to wear every day. And actually, UV rays never have a day off, so just find something that you stick to all year round. I remember when it was snowing and I was like outside, right, I've got still got my SPF on, but years ago I would never have done that. But now it is actually all the skincare you do. If you're not wearing your SPF, there's not much point. And that kind of leads me on to more the sort of like the, you know, skin as in anti-aging, and wearing SPF daily, what does that do for like premature aging? How does that help skin?
Well, as I said, 80 to 90% of our aging in our skin is due to that UV. So I will refuse to treat people who are having those sunbeds, and I really incorporate SPF 30. Sometimes I'll get that into someone's regime for 3 months before I treat them because of its importance. But, you know, essentially, aging is a cellular process. It happens on all layers of our skin. We can block out the UV rays using the SPF, super important. But even if we were using SPF 100 every day, which does exist for those people who've had skin cancers and things, we'd still age. Our bone still resorbs, our soft tissues, our muscle move around. You will still age, but you wouldn't develop those signs of pigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles, that kind of laxity that can happen, would all be prevented essentially. So, and what I definitely find is those people who are using good SPF religiously, they're using good skincare ingredients, when they're investing in beauty treatments, they last longer, and they're more effective, they're more happy with their results. So I actually think 50-50. I think, you know, the injectables that you're using in my clinic, they're only worth 50% of what's happening on your face, really.
And do you find a lot of customers is like 50-50 and who comes in knowing about SPF? Like, or is it a real, or is it less?
Much less.
Much less.
I think it's much less. And I always have this chat with people, you know, I'm not here to lecture you, but obviously as a doctor and with a background in medicine and science, I understand that. But when I was a child as well, I mean, I used to spend all of my summers in Sicily, and my mum would put oil on my skin to make me more brown. We didn't really know about it. And I think we still have even though it's definitely out there a lot more, we still have a long way to go. It's a lot less than 50% of people that understand how much of a great benefit is that we have SPF.
Do you have any questions as of yet? No. We're going to move on to more like hormonal menopausal skin. Is there anything with SPF that we haven't touched on that you'd like to share before we move on, or do you feel like we've covered it?
I think if anything comes up,
we can go back to it.
Yeah.
So with obviously hormonal skin, menopausal, I mean, they're quite different obviously in what you look for, but how do you identify your skin if you're going through those changes? Is it quite obvious, or are there other little things that people may not realise that are quite good for knowing in identifying that they're going through sort of the like hormones or menopausal changes?
That's quite a difficult question, just because hormones are, you know, signaling molecules that affect so many cells in the body. So you get loads of different skin changes, you get loads of different other symptoms, and it affects everyone differently, I suppose. What I find time and time again is women are coming to the clinic and they are finding that their skin is really dry, dull, lackluster skin. That's probably the mainstay of people who, when we go a bit deeper and I ask them about, you know, their periods and things that you don't expect when you go into a skin clinic or an aesthetic clinic, it's then that you notice the relationship. And I think as well as SPF, there's a lot going on in the media, and there's a lot of talk about menopause, so people are more aware of it and maybe finding those links. But generally it's that dry, lackluster skin. Maybe their skin is, for the first time in decades, you know, having breakouts, or their moisturizer is just not really giving them that hydration that they're used to, for example. So it really affects everybody differently. For those people that, you know, are just finding that it's dry skin, lackluster, there's lots of things we can do in the clinic, tons of things we can do in the clinic. And for those people, there are a minority of people, I must say, that start developing actual medical skin conditions like rosacea, perioral dermatitis. They're the two that I'm finding, and adult onset acne, but really rosacea and perioral dermatitis. You start seeing a surge of that around the perimenopause time. And for those people, you know, going to your GP and having the actual medical treatment is the mainstay of how you're going to get improvements. There's lots of other things we can do. But for the others, there's lots of things we can do in the kind of aesthetic realm to improve that skin. Yeah,
because that was one of the things we hear a lot of dermatitis is, you know, with questions we get asked a lot, and it does seem to be coming up a lot more regularly in sort of recent times. Is there any reason for that, would you say? Or is it just, again, we hear about it, so people are more aware of it?
Yeah, that's a question we've asked in the medical community as well, because we are seeing these increasing diagnoses of dermatitis. We don't really know why. There's some theories that climate change could be doing it, or exposure to pollution. Or is it just that we are becoming better at diagnosing it? Who knows? But I think, and this is not a medical opinion, and this is not kind of like, you know, the profession thing, just what I'm noticing, and I deal with skin every day. I think a lot of dermatitis at the moment, especially in younger people, is because people are messing with their skin barrier. Dermatitis is essentially a group of conditions. So it's not just one condition, it's a group of conditions, and it affects the epidermis, so the outer layer of your skin. It causes itchiness, inflammation in the skin, and it can cover things like perioral, like we said, allergic dermatitis, irritant dermatitis. But essentially it's that breakdown of the barrier of your skin. And when you are following fads and trends on social media. And you may have the best intention. You want to treat yourself to what, you know, the new skincare ingredient that's really good for your skin. What I'm finding is people are really invested in their skin, and they're actually just buying lots and lots of different products that are really harsh, not designed to be used together, and they are stripping their skin barrier. So that's where I start with my people that come in, is we completely eradicate all of their skincare. We go completely kind of eliminate it down and replace that with a regime that's really specific for their skin, because just because it's good for an influencer's skin, it doesn't mean it's good for your skin. So I think that has a lot to, you know, to speak for in terms of rising dermatitis.
Definitely. And not actually understanding how to use the product properly and when to use it. If you're using acids or retinols or anything like that in the morning, making sure, and I know we keep saying it, but SPF, because you're putting these products on your skin actually with the sun sensitivity, and if you're not using them correctly, and then building up and using, like you said, too much at once, the skin, you know, and although, you know, we want to always improve our complexion in different ways, the skin has a purpose. It does these things for a reason. Oil on the skin is not a bad thing. Obviously, there's ways of controlling it, but your skin needs those oils for its goodness, like our cuticles and our nails, like we cut them away, but actually they're stopping bacteria getting into our skin. Like there's every bit of our body has a purpose. So actually it's complementing our skin barrier, helping it, but actually not really removing and stripping everything. I think with social media, like you're saying, like influencers, like some stuff great, like the rise in SPF talk, but then you've got the other hand where easily now you can get something next day, and it's so easy to order products. And actually, have you even looked into them? What ingredients are in there? You might feel different with this, but like a higher percentage of an active doesn't necessarily mean it's better for the skin, depending on the skin and what you're treating. Whereas you'd know that and you'd be able to advise properly. But just buying something on social media or TikTok because it's got X amount percent in, actually that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make your skin better. It can, in fact, cause irritation, sensitivity, and it's younger children as well, which obviously we're not maybe going to chat about today, but their skin, when they're so young, they don't need these harsh products. And actually it's just that misinformation and not knowing how to use them, because we're seeing it more. We get a lot of customers that say about their skin and all the dermatitis, sensitivity around the mouth as well. And it is, you know, it's concerning because you've got to be careful of marketing as well as information. So it's making sure you research the brands, the ingredients, and actually getting in touch with them and understanding. If they don't get back to you, then maybe look at another brand that will really explain it thoroughly, because everyone should know what they're selling. And then hopefully it will help with, you know, the future of our skin, because we're not using the wrong stuff just because it looked good or an influencer said it was great in a video.
Or the packaging looks particularly attractive. No, I think that's really important. And another thing is that, you know, our skin is the biggest organ of our body. When our skin goes wrong, there's a knock-on effect to our inner health and also to mental health. And I see that quite a lot. You know, people's self-esteem and their confidence can be eradicated very quickly. And then they have knock-on anxiety, depression, etc. And that's in the extreme sense. But, you know, especially when you're talking about teenagers who might be using ingredients and they then have purging of their skin and reactions. I think there is a link between that increase in you know, reduced self-esteem and everything that's going on with the skin at the moment. It's really important that we're kind to our skin. And you know, if you are going to start these ingredients, just do it under guidance of someone, whether it's the brand reps, the brand representatives, or like a skincare professional.
Is there any tips, so with dermatitis, is there anything you could just say first, like off, to just help with preventing? Obviously, I know this is maybe a bit more, you have to see someone to tell them, but there are a few little steps that you'd say, right, try this first at home to just help you if you are finding you're having flare-ups of any sort.
I mean, I think a lot of people get frustrated with GPs who say, do a lifestyle diary, but I think they're really helpful because often you're using lots of different products, lots of things are going on in your life. You can't identify the trigger, but these things have triggers, right? And by using a lifestyle diary for a long enough period of time, so you want between 2 and 4 weeks, you can pick up subtle triggers and then eliminating those triggers. Obviously, don't eliminate everything at once, because then you can't identify what it was. But if you eliminate one thing at once, and you can often come up with what has caused your flare. And really, when it comes to things like perioral dermatitis, like we were saying, or dermatitis, I think it's really important to strip it right back. So start using gentle skincare. Don't use any acids. Don't use exfoliants. Strip out all the actives or the harsh ingredients, and use gentle, organic skincare, fragrance-free. Make sure you're using your SPF. And really start fresh. Give your skin, 6 weeks of no makeup and very little ingredients to breathe again and reset that microbiome on your skin. And then you can start introducing one thing at a time if you must. And if it is something aggressive, then you talk to a skincare specialist before you do it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you. With stress on the skin, we had a few customers message about stress and how does that affect the skin, obviously at the time, but also afterwards. Have you got any insight on that?
So, yes, I do. Stress is a little bit of a kind of umbrella term, isn't it? But stress, essentially, in very simple biological terms, causes cortisol increase. And cortisol has effects on your skin. It can cause inflammation in your skin. So people who know they've got skincare conditions like eczema, psoriasis, we often find, and acne, they will flare, and rosacea, all of them basically will flare when you have a time of stress. And it might not be on the day that you're stressed, you realize you get a flare. Often it can be, subtle stress that's been going on for a persistent amount of time. And then some weeks later, you'll notice that your skin starts flaring. So we know for many years in medical dermatology that skin does respond to stress. So we've known that for ages, but it's, it's happening more and more and more.
Yeah. And that is something that customers, like, they've messaged because they've just noticed their skin from stress has what's happened afterwards, the effect of it on the skin.
Yeah.
With rosacea, obviously we spoke about it a little bit. Again, that's something our customers have. Are there any main triggers for it, or products or ingredients that you'd say to avoid if you have got rosacea?
Yes. So rosacea is that, and I think another problem is that some people are diagnosing themselves with something, and it might not be right. Okay. So if you think you've got rosacea, please go and see your GP and understand if it is or isn't, because there can be lots of mimics. But rosacea is essentially a skin condition that causes redness, flushing, sometimes some sensitivity, mainly across the cheeks and the nose. So just so we're on the same page. The triggers that we find, common triggers, sun, so UV exposure. Some people get triggered by spicy foods, alcohol, stress, like we said. But definitely those harsh chemical skincare ingredients can really, really set it off. And it almost becomes like this cycle that's really difficult to break.
Yeah. There's so many different skin layers, factors, and like concerns. So it's really good to be able to talk you through them and be able to talk to you and just kind of get a little bit of a inside knowledge on how it all works and what happens, because it is a very, complex, and everyone's situation is different. Their lifestyle, obviously we're talking a lot about the skin, but even like their lifestyle in general, nutrition, water intake, like heating, what conditions they work in. If you're outside all year round, really cold weathers to hot, they can really trigger different skin concerns. I think like where you touched on mental health as well, that does really impact the skin. It's so hard because it's always impacted people's mental health. But again, with that social media, seeing filters and not real life, and that's what we end up seeing daily. We scroll aimlessly on our phones and we see stuff, and then the algorithm picks it up, and then you see more of it. So it's just, like you were saying earlier, use kind products or go to see a specialist that knows what they're doing so they can give you the right advice, and also be kind to yourself and just be kind to others, because everyone's going through their own things. So it's just making sure that we're all, being there for each other. And with teens and younger, they want to try out these products, and it's, letting, some of it's not right, but actually for them, they're young, they're excited, and it's just hopefully the right advice gets out there where they can use the right products for them. Have you got any other sort of topics or anything you'd like to chat about?
No, but I think we were just saying about rosacea, and I didn't answer your question properly about what can you do to make it better.
Oh, help it, yeah.
But I mean, it probably kind of goes hand in hand with what we said triggers it.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you notice that you are triggered by spicy foods, eliminate that.
Yeah.
Maybe easier said than done for some.
Yeah.
But really, from a skincare perspective, SPF is so important. And actually, the type of SPF you're using in rosacea is really important, because where we know that heat can trigger your rosacea, using a chemical or a mineral SPF can actually trigger your rosacea. So stick into your more physical, so the ones that are based on zinc and titanium, and they block out UV instead of absorbing the heat, can really help. So stick to a physical SPF. Maybe use soap substitutes, like take out soap from your cleansing, use a gentle cleanser rather than anything with acids. Don't be expecting to exfoliate your skin either. So it's just about stripping it right back again.
Yeah, and treat each skincare concern is different to the next. What works, your friend might have glowing skin, you might have glowing skin in a different way, but what you both use could be completely different, and that's how it is. It's not meant. It's not one. You know,
it's different for everyone.
Definitely. Sorry, you got the question. Oh, all right. Okay. Have we got any questions? Oh yeah, go for it.
Talking about seeing skincare heavily advertised. Someone said they keep seeing collagen advertised. Should they be taking collagen supplements, or is that a whole different?
Okay, it's a whole different life. I know. I must say I don't know enough about collagen supplements. But from my education, my understanding is that if you're using some collagen supplements, think about it. You're drinking something. 70% of that, up to 70% of that, may be excreted in your urine, and all the rest. 30% of that will be absorbed, and it will be distributed to all the cells in your body. So you will get benefits, no doubt. There's no harm in doing it. But actually, if you're looking for skin changes, you're probably not, it's not going to all be magically delivered to your skin, basically. So if you want collagen banking, collagen stimulating in your skin, using skincare to do that, or skin treatments, is really where it's at. And that's where I believe in using things like Profiler. I'm not going to, there's loads of different brands, loads of different modalities, but it won't do any harm. But I don't think it will, it doesn't give you the most collagen in your skin. There are other things that are more effective.
Yeah. Good answer.
Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Another question. A follower says she's got oily skin and large pores on her nose and forehead. Is there anything she can do to help?
Yes, there's lots of things that you can do to help. Often oily skin and large pores go hand in hand, actually. So it's probably all part of one kind of problem. And if you treat it correctly, you'll find resolution of both of those things. But you've got some products, haven't you? Like your
AHA, PHA toner, which will help with the appearance. Obviously, you've probably got treatments that help with pores. You can't completely remove, but you can help with the appearance. And would you say the set? Like,
I mean, pores will always be there. They're not there on just people who have oily skin. It's just when they're enlarged or clogged where it's a problem. But actually, I think, yes, there's treatments that we can use for that. When people come into me for those problems, it's skincare that I turn to. And I know I've been using your toner, and I thought, oh, brilliant.
Because it's really good for pores. Tightening and also cleaning out the skin, boosting cell renewal, brightening cell renewal, like regenerating and the oil. And also get a good cleansing routine, getting in a good, like, again, you don't want to, obviously oily skin, and you want to help control it, but not completely strip it, because all skin needs some oil. But obviously, if you have got that overactive sebum, I've not said all my skin terms for a while now. I'm getting all hot and flustered. But sebum level, you want to be able to just help control it.
Yeah, and one ingredient that is really good for that is salicylic acid. But again, another problem I find is people hear that salicylic acid toners or cleansers are really good for this, and they use it every day or twice a day. It's too much for your skin. Like you say, you still need some oil production. It's part of your skin biology, and when you strip it, you get those problems. So maybe if you're going to start doing that, use it once a week, twice a week. When you tolerate that, maybe go up to 3 times a week, and that's it. Because these ingredients work, and because they work, they can also cause problems. So
that's actually a really good point, because another thing with like the tonic, for instance, you may feel instant results in the sense of how it looks, but these products take time. Like, because it helps with cell renewal, it actually works with your skin cycle. You're shedding your dead skin cells, and actually it might not be within a week. So don't overuse something because you want it to work. Actually use it correctly and you'll get the benefits long term. But I think sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, I'd be like, right, I want this and I want it now, and I'll just do all of it. And actually that's when issues occur. It's doing it right and having a plan and not overdoing it, because that is when you'll with anything, like, you will cause skin to have probably an irritation to it if it is too harsh.
Yeah, definitely. There's that problem where people use it for a week, and because they've got this irritation, they say it didn't suit me, but actually no, your skin is adjusting to it. So that's part of it. But also some people come in and they say, yeah, well, I used it and it didn't work. How long did you use it for? A week. It takes a lot longer than that.
Okay, amazing. I think we are. Was there any more questions? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sabrina. I absolutely loved that chat on all things skin. I hope you all found it really useful. The live will be available from now on, and we will also get it up on our YouTube channel. And we will also share Dr. Sabrina's information as well if you want to get in touch with her with any other questions. But thank you so much. Really enjoyed that. Thank you, everyone. Bye.